Alright everybody, prepare yourselves. Tier list! The people have been waiting. The Faust players have been angry. I finally settled it with the Potemkin players, and the Faust players got mad at me. But we gotta do a little business, right? A little business, you know what I'm saying? I actually can't 5p that. That's your footsies? Can you guys hear me? I think my PC exploded. Don't let someone else control your life. Keep your passwords safe with Keeper Security. So first, because I have to say this at the beginning of every tier list discussion, it's not ordered. It's not in order. It is not in order. As time has gone on, right, there have been games that I've ordered, like straight up. Like for example, the more we move on in modern fighting games, the more that the developers are trying really hard to make it so that people can just pick the character that they want to pick. And because of that, like, I just get the feeling that characters are the same. Like, I feels like a lot of characters I can talk in really positive ways and really negative ways. Every character in this game has strengths and weaknesses. I just feel like a lot of the characters have really strong situations and also spots where they're like, man, like I'm just in trouble. Even in Exerd, I was able to mostly order the characters, but in this game and also in Dragon Ball up until season 4, because I haven't really played season 4 like that, I just thought a lot of characters with the same strength, like just straight up. People should be happier about that, like for real. Like people are like, what's the order? You're copping out. Right? Where like in an older game that I played, I could easily give you an order because I just really think there are differences between each character. The modern games, they've just done a really good job and continuously doing a better job of just making the character power closer. I mostly was thinking about this because I got a comment on the downplay video where a dude was like, yo, if you're saying Faust is not bottom 2, then you're capping and you don't know what you're talking about. So I just started thinking about like, where would I put everyone in the cast right now? And I was like, man, everyone is kind of close-ish right now. If they do like a big patch, I would expect the tiers to be split up more than this. With all that out the way, this probably will make people happy since there isn't like an S plus and A minus. I don't really think there's like an in-between character like that. Quick summary of my feelings. So there's some changes to the like top, because like 1, Soul's not definitively the best. 2, Chipp no longer S tier is probably the main thing, and then 3 is Nago in S tier. The main thing is like Leo's basically the same, basically untouched, where Soul is still strong, but like the things that really set him apart before were all toned down. May got changed in a pretty fair way, but like it's overall the same. Nago, the main thing is that his far slash buff, like how much resources he gets back if he hits the whole series of far slash, plus other characters getting nerfed, and then also like his XP buff is pretty good. He does a lot of damage, and then when he bites you, he's really strong. Throw PRC is really strong with him, and I think he does decently well against other strong characters. Ram, I think, endures, so I don't think they really like nerfed her. They just made a couple of things easier to deal with. Her corner game is still just as strong as it's ever been. Her damage is just as good as it's ever been. When she breaks the wall, she's just as strong as she's ever been. When she gold bursts you, she's just as strong as she's ever been. Her main weakness is always she can't whiff stuff on the ground, but not that many characters are good at dealing with that, so I think these characters are probably like the big ones. Right. Then the majority of the cast is A+, so again, you should feel pretty comfortable playing any character, and the main thing about playing a character that is an A+ is that your matchup spread. And to be honest, if there was a character in S-, it'd probably be Chipp. So Chipp, the biggest thing is that more characters can interact with his far slash, so he has to pick different buttons. It's easier to deal with J2K, so he has to be a little bit more, have a little bit more intent than before. He is still a strong character, so like in the previous patch, he was definitely S tier, but for the people who were saying he was like broken, best character, things like that, I think you guys were overrating it a little bit because you're playing online, and honestly, he's just way easier to defend offline or like on PC. So just keep that in mind. Millia in a pretty good spot, pretty mobile, amazing knockdown, and again, like I've been trying to change things about my knockdown to make her stronger because I think it's necessary. You have heard how I have been trying to change and update some of her mix-up stuff so that when opponents get hit, they feel more threat. Basically, her biggest problems right now is that when she's above people, the risk return is just usually in the opponent's favor. The tools you tend to use don't have high return, and the tools they tend to use do. So they're gonna keep trying, even if you're hitting them, especially if you can't get it knocked down to disc. And then it's just the usual system stuff of like low life, low defense. But as long as you use your mobility and knock them down, it's fine. She does well against the majority of the cast. Biggest issue character is probably Potemkin. And yeah, I think she's in a pretty good spot. Then Axl, so this is the bracket ruiner. I think he does well against some important characters, but then also he loses to like the fast characters. He dies really fast. He's good at screen control, playing really defensively. It's hard to get in, and the game itself kind of helps him too, because like if you don't sequence your hits the right way, you send Axl back to neutral, which gives him more chances to play, which people generally don't want to do. For a long time, his main weakness was if you knock him down in the corner, goodbye Axl. In this game, when you break the wall, you go back to neutral, so you need to make sure you have a really good sequence against him. But overall, strong character. Ino, they fixed the main problem that she had, which was her mobility. This was the thing I really wanted them to change, mostly because I thought all her moves were good and stuff, but because she wasn't able to move a lot, she had to preempt a lot, and that's why you saw people spamming Stroke the Big Tree, trying to ram the Gold Burst so they could do Dash Super, things like that. But now I feel like she can play with way more intent, way more controlled, vary up the way she moves, doesn't have to be as committal as she used to. She uses the wall spot thing the best, and if they keep that in, then she's definitely going to be in a really good spot. But even if they don't keep that in, I think she's in a pretty good place. Potemkin, the main character of my favorite $60 to play online game, Garuda Impact. Super sick character. So it could be a struggle to get in with him sometimes, but basically once he gets in, he kills you in about 10 seconds. So, and his real main issue is just like, you know, Axl exists, for example, Nagoriyuki exists. So he's a character that's like strong in my opinion, but he's kept in check by matchups. Probably the big three in my head: Ramlethal, Nagoriyuki, and Axl. As I mentioned to, for like things I want to see change, to be honest, I basically think they're not gonna change Guard Crush, even though I think it's like not the best mechanic ever made, for lack of a better word. I think they're gonna change the move, but I don't think they're gonna change like Guard Crush or anything, so we'll see. But as he is right now, I think he's pretty good character. There's Giovanna. So this character I always think is like hard to change, so I'm like, man, like everything's like pretty good. She's probably kept down by matchup, but Soul is not as problematic as he used to be as a character overall. I heard that like, that was like her biggest gatekeeper was Soul, but then also a lot of characters, their biggest gatekeeper is Soul. She's very mobile, sliding normals, good pressure, good damage, good mix up even too. So the way she moves, while she's able to like vary her movement, right? Because she has like the fast dash, sliding dash normal, and the low to the ground air dash, and active moves like far slash. While she can travel across a lot of space, she has to do it while committing to something. So the characters that are defensive can deal with her pretty well, and characters that can like control that space well deal with her pretty well. If you can't fight that well, then it's gonna feel like she's all over you. Then there's Zato. So Zato, I feel like they keep optimizing his stuff, like his sequencing. Oppose, of course, is incredibly strong. We don't even gotta talk about Oppose. His issue has always been defense, and I think someone said that the damage in Guilty Gear Strive is kind of high, and you know, if he gets hit, he gets deleted. He has no guts and stuff, so on defense it's really pain, and he doesn't have special stuff like a higher jump or like a better backstep or something. He really has to hold that. He has to interact with YRC more than other characters, which is kind of tough. He's kind of a tricky one to balance too, because he could easily be the best character in the game with a couple of changes. And then there's Goldlewis, Lord Goldlewis. This character's a meme character. If he hits you, GG. If he gets in the corner, GG for the most part. And our only hope is that he's not that mobile. That is the main things protecting us from the threat that is the Secretary of Defense. That is that he can't move that much. You guys really don't know how much of a problem this character can be once he gets started and just starts mauling you. He has so many disjoints, plus frames. When he has 50-meter, like, good luck defending. Behemoth PRC as well. The character is super, super strong. So the really the thing that's keeping him down is just that, you know, you can play, some characters can like just keep him out and stop him from getting started. There's Kai, good old Kyle. Good old Kyle got a couple nice little changes. I think he's in a pretty good spot. Just nice all-rounder type here. I just think is that he doesn't excel at anything. He's just like kind of good at a bunch of stuff in my opinion, besides maybe screen control, because he has to be a little bit more active on the screen compared to other characters. You know, he's got Future Arc and things like that. It's less of like, oh, he has these blatant huge problems, and like it's more like he's got a couple small problems, like his stun edge being like -11 point blank and stuff like that, but like he's can do everything. Like his defense is okay, and his neutral control is pretty good, his pressure is good. He's a weird one for me. If they tweak anything, we're gonna have the exert, oh my god, Kai is so broken, he ruins the game, poor Kyle. So Faust, so I've talked about a bunch. His normals are very good, and a bunch of them got buffed. He has a good anti-air game, good air versus air game. What happens to the game when he gets items, especially multiple items. Oh, he does have unique defense too, because he has crawl too. So he is crawl, which is good. So again, so he can't mash because he has 6-framer. He's not like super mobile, so his backwalk is good, and he has crawl, and he's got that unique floaty air dash. There's Trumpet. So Trumpet, you know, the opponent can get that, and even though he's good at getting away from it, he does have to get away from it. His defense is not usually good. He's tall, so he can get hit by mix-ups that other characters can't get hit by. But I think right now he's in a pretty decent spot. And there's Anji. They changed his forward slash, and they changed Fujin, and there's Fujin follow-ups. Jacko and Anji are probably the characters I know the least about. In Anji's case, I just don't feel anything from him. Like, it's just really hard for me to talk about him in the game. I just see a character that does a lot of damage, that has guard points that the opponent has to read, or they have to pick low commit stuff, and that's it. Like, it's really hard for me to talk about him compared to other characters. And then there's Jacko, who I'm just not sure. She's a new character. I've heard that people say she's pretty strong. I just need a little bit more time on this one. Okay? Any questions?